she would say when she was in the bunker, like, you could get through 10 seconds at a time. You can survive anything for 10 seconds. And so I will do the exact same thing. I will count over and over in my head, like to 10. Especially at like doctors' offices or when I was at the psych ward, I remember doing that a lot.
Welcome to Normalize The Conversation by Inspiring My Generation. I'm your host, Francesca. Today, I'm joined by Emma Tropea, Director of Community and Creator Strategy at Lethea, where she focuses on building emotionally safe digital spaces rooted in psychology, trust, and human connection. In this episode, we talk about what it really feels like to live with racing thoughts, anger, and emotional overwhelm, and how these experiences often come back to childhood trauma and the pressure to just be okay. Join us as we unpack why simple coping tools can be more powerful than they seem, and what it looks like to navigate mental health in a way that actually works for you. Emma, thank you so much for joining me today. I am really excited for our conversation, but before we begin, I want to check in. How are you really?
I have really been struggling with my anger recently, which just like I'm starting to finally realize what happened in my childhood and why I've been feeling the way I am. And so I'm kind of going through the grieving process of just, mourning the life I could have had, kind of in the anger stage. So working towards acceptance, but getting there.
Wait, I love that answer because same. And that's one of the reasons like I've taken up tennis, especially just the ball machine to get out that anger and just hit so hard. People are always laughing at me because I'm like, I love hitting things like in a healthy way because I don't want to hurt anyone, obviously. But
Of
so
course.
much anger inside. And people are like, well, meditate. And I'm like, well, I'm not there yet. I would love to be. I'm just
Yeah.
too trying to understand like the root of all of it. I feel like that's a really hard thing.
100%. I was actually telling Tony, my CEO, the other day that I need what are they called? A punching bag. And he told me that he had a punching bag in his office. And I was like, okay, so I'm not alone. Because I just can't seem to get the energy out verbally or mentally. So it just like needs something physical to like get all that exertion out.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. I always do like these get out of your head, get outside walks, and it's just me like having these like fights in my head, right? Like all the things I
Yeah.
would, because I don't want to fight with people. So I just
Right.
go and
I
then I
know it just
get it out
goes
in
in
my
your
head.
head.
Yeah. Like all things I want to
Do
say to
you
you.
have it like yes, oh my God, the imaginary shower fights are endless. I just like, but is your inner monologue kind of always going? Do
Yes,
you find that?
stop ever. Do you have that
It
too?
doesn't stop. Yes, my boyfriend, because he doesn't ever have thoughts in his head. And it's not that he's stupid, but he just doesn't have an inner monologue. And I'm like, what is it like? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just not thinking anything right now. I'm like, what do you mean you're not thinking anything right now? Right now I'm thinking about 10 different things and then like 10 different things below all of those things at the same time.
I don't understand when people don't like are able to just clear their thoughts and be able to.
Yeah, that's why like yeah, that's like what you were saying with meditation. That's why it never worked for me is I couldn't do it. I would always tell me, my therapist in high school would say, just imagine it as a bubble and blow it away. Girl, there's too many bubbles. My lungs are not strong enough for that.
Well, and people say like, "Oh, you can still have thoughts while you meditate." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't like focus in even on just like one thought. Like they just keep going and they go in 10 different
Yes.
directions. And then because around me it's quiet or the music, right, is so soft and like peaceful, I start crying. And I'm like it does not. I don't know. Like I hate when people say like, "Oh, well, just don't think." Or just think positive. And I'm like, if I had any control right now, I'd love to.
Literally. My mom used to get mad at me when I would study at home when I was in high school because I would have to have the TV on. I have to have another like stimuli. It's like a very fine line. I can have like two things going at once. Like I have to have something in the background for me to be able to actually focus to do my work. I cannot sit si in silence ever. Like even a study, it's so much more distracting for me than to have the TV on. And it's kind of the same, like it numbs out or like it kind of cancels out the background thoughts. It's like almost like it like is all white noise if you add the TV to it.
Yeah, okay, same. I always put on like sitcoms in the background because then
Me
they'll say
too.
something and make me laugh. Wait, really?
Yes. I'm
And
so serious.
so then I'm like, okay, I'm not stuck only in my head. Like there's something happening, or I play music. Like I'm a big Taylor Swift fan, so
Yes.
I play music just in the background. And then when I'm like, I can still focus very well, and I can go like 9 hours straight. I can hyper focus.
Mm.
And I guess a lot of people can't while listening to music or having TV on. But
Yeah.
it helps so much because then there's something else taking up my thoughts instead of just my brain going
Yes.
at once.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you just said so many things I love. First off, I started my day by dancing today to a Taylor Swift song. And that was in honor of our conversation today. I think I was Never Getting Back Together. An old classic because Old Taylor's my favorite. I was obsessed. I'm from right outside Nashville, so my dad, his coworker lived in the same building as Taylor Swift and rode the elevator with her like every day. And I was such a fan at that time. I got to see her perform at the Country Music Awards, like the country Christmas music, whatever it was, because my dad had tickets through his office or whatever. And I remember being so young and just like fighting to stay awake to see her perform. But yeah, so that's what yes, so I danced Taylor Swift today, in honor of this conversation. And The Office is usually my go-to. I actually wrote my college essay, for my bachelor's to get into college on the fact that I was diagnosed with amnesia because I had 5 concussions, but I can pretty much tell you every single line of The Office, all 9 seasons. I've seen it 29 times.
You've counted? I love that. So growing up, I was only allowed to watch 3 shows, and my mom was like very protective. Some might call it controlling. She calls it protective, and she just, but it was so silly because the shows I was allowed to watch, like I could only watch with her. TV was like she had to put a pin in. To this day, like anything over PG-13 or like Nickelodeon, she still has to put the code in, and I don't know it. So visiting her is fun. I'm like, Mom, come home. I was allowed to watch Friends, Charmed, and General Hospital. So, like
I
for
know.
Friends just on repeat, it's like such a comfort to a time where like at home things were so like kind of contained, right? During that time, I was only just sitting and watching. So it brings back this feeling of, I guess, like safety or just not chaos. I don't know if safety is the word. I think it's like just not chaos. And General Hospital, it was about like this one character told this other character like count to 10 before you react. And I can be very reactive, especially when that anger comes on. And it's more reactive toward me, not toward others. But like now I'll sit there and I'll
I
count to 10
understand.
over and over and over again. So it's like funny how the small things that you pick up as a kid really impact
That's actually
like
insane that you said that specifically because I have the same thing where I count to 10, except it's from a different show. This one's admittedly kind of embarrassing, but you know what? What's the point of living if you're not going to live it to the fullest? So it's oh God, it's called Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I have not.
So have you seen The Office?
I've seen bits and pieces.
Do you know Erin, the redheaded like receptionist in the later seasons?
I feel like I know who you're talking about. I
She,
think I've seen the previews for Unbreakable Kimmy.
yeah,
She
she's
moved.
in all of the like commercials now. Like when they use like the Office cast, she's in all of the commercials. But she's the star of the show, and they are called Mole Women because they basically escaped a bunker, where they were held in. It sounds dark, but it's really funny. But it's a great show, honestly, because they work through and show what it's like to work through a lot of trauma, especially repressed trauma. I think Tina Fey is one of the producers of it, so it's funny, but it really is impactful, and it's one of my comfort shows because it's sitcom. It's fun, it's silly, and it just makes me feel part of a family, you know? But she would say when she was in the bunker, like, you could get through 10 seconds at a time. You can survive anything for 10 seconds. And so I will do the exact same thing. I will count over and over in my head, like to 10. Especially at like doctors' offices or when I was at the psych ward, I remember doing that a lot.
Same. It's just, especially in the psych unit, that was counting to 10 was needed. But when I tell people, they're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I count to 10 just over and over again. They look at me like I just gave them the worst advice ever. So I love that someone else does it. Like, really count to 10? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a difference. Because, like you said, you can survive anything for 10 seconds. And once you've made it past 10 seconds have happened since the thing that has
yeah,
irritated you or hurt you or upset you. So then if you get far enough away from it, 6 times, that's a whole minute. You've made it past.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's like, there's so much to do and look forward to in your life that you don't even realize. I think about that a lot, like how I wish I could go back and give younger me a hug because I was so convinced I wouldn't make it past the age of like 14 and then 15 and then, up to 18. And just like looking back and it's like sometimes I feel overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I have to do in my day or what I'm looking forward to or feeling like I'm behind. And then I think back to just even 17-year-old me who thought life wasn't worth living and that I would never get out of that hole. And I'm living like beyond what I could even imagine being now. And it's just like, ugh, it's like so emotional, but in
That's
a good way.
thing. I feel like I really get that on my birthday. Like every year, I'm
Mm.
like, I didn't think I'd make it to this number. I didn't think I'd make it. I remember being 12 and writing down like my will in a notebook, which was like electronics to my sister and toys to my brother because I was 12. Like I did not think I was going to make it very long. So every year on my birthday, it's like this duality of, oh, like I've made it another year and I have to keep going. And then there's like I can't believe like I've made it. And what 12-year-old me like dreamed of, like it's
Exactly.
actually like that's my life. How incredible, all because I somehow survived and then I've kept going.
Yeah. And I what you said about people laughing about when you say the 10-second thing, I think back to when I was in that state when I was younger, I would always get so mad when people would try to give me advice, especially like that. Because I'd be like, you have no idea what I'm going through. You have no idea how hard it is to be me. And then like now kind of getting to a place where I am a lot better. I'm looking back and like, wow, honestly, some of the simplest advice was the most impactful. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's so true. I do that. I mean, rightfully so that I do it with my parents and they're like, think positive. I think, well, but I feel the way all the time, like you don't get it, you don't understand. So automatically I go into the defensive mode.
yeah,
No, I'm gonna think about that every time I react to someone.
yeah. I've been really trying not to be defensive because I don't know if you've heard this saying, but once an angry man in the house, always an angry man in the house, even if you sometimes become the angry man. And like, I just grew up with a lot of anger, just experienced towards me and just seeing it, throughout my family. And especially because I come from a very logical family. So when there's emotion involved, a lot of the times they don't know how to respond. And so my dad was very mentally ill and my mom was very logical. And mental illness isn't logical. And I feel like people have a very hard time understanding that. Because I know if I eat 3 meals a day, like I'll feel better about myself. I know that if I drink water, I'll be hydrated. But it's hard. Oh, sorry. She likes to be the center of attention. Hi, okay. Mwah. Um, but, it's like although like the simplest advice is the most effective, it is so hard for people to realize if they've never experienced it that it genuinely feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Like getting out of bed and even breathing takes everything out of you.
Yes, it's not. Oh, and I just had a conversation with someone right before this. He was like, "Well, what's stopping you from eating like 3 meals a day? What's stopping you from like taking care of yourself better?" And I was like, I don't know. I don't like to go to the grocery store. Like it's hard to go to the grocery store and I don't want to pay the delivery fee. And he's like, no, but what's stopping you? And I was like, genuinely having to go outside and be near people. Like that's what's
Yeah.
stopping me. Like it's not, I,
You go to Walmart in Florida and tell me if you want to shop for groceries.
oh, especially like the Parkland Walmart. That one was like my least favorite to go to. No matter what time it is, it could be midnight. There's a million people there. And they walk so
Yeah.
slow. And I'm like overwhelmed and overstimulated. Just move.
Oh my God. And then they'll like spread out. So if it's a group, you can't pass them in an aisle. No. Why do people do that?
Right? And I'm on sidewalks when I'm like going for my walk to get out of my head and calm down. There are many groups of people and they don't move. It's like, I have to walk in the street to get around you like that. I have to
It's
take 10.
insane. In Tennessee, it's a completely different vibe. Moving to Florida was like a shell shock, especially down south, because in Tennessee, if someone sees you like a football field lengths away and like you're could possibly be walking in the general direction, they will hold that door open for you and then like ask you what your life story is as they walk in with you. And here, I feel like people like I move out of the way while I'm trying to get a pub sub for them, like just sorry, doing my thing, and then they look at me like I should thank them for their existence, and I'm like, where am I right now?
Florida. And when I moved to California, I was like, this is kind of worse because my like neighbors and we will park. So we'll be in the parking garage and park at the same time. We're on the same floor. Like I'm parked here, he's parked here, and he will run out of his car through the door, like not hold the door, not hold the elevator. I'm like, why? What did I do? It makes no sense. I mean,
Dude, some people just have places to be, I guess. I got over my road rage by just like telling myself everyone's going to the hospital, and that's why they're riding on the shoulder to avoid the 95, I-95 rush hour. That's why. Everyone just needs to go to the hospital.
that's smart. Oh, the amount of anxiety I get while driving, trying to like navigate everyone else driving, and then trying to like my brain is going a million miles an hour, and I'm trying to figure out like what's actually happening.
I'm always blasting music and I'll always have the window down. I used to do it in storms too. Like I would feel suffocated almost if there weren't windows down in my car. Like I don't know why, but I just need that. It's like
I
going to the psych ward sucked.
I know the spacing is so small, and for me, like my floor plan had to be an open layout because I can't feel like I'm squeezed into a place. And that's why I don't like to be in cars full of people. I don't like to be in grocery stores because everything seems to be like so close together. There's so many
I,
people. I can't breathe. And being in the psych unit, the rooms are so small. And someone else was staying in the room. Like I had a roommate. Did you have a roommate?
I had a roommate.
And then like the bathroom was like this small with a curtain. And you
Oh
just
my God, thank God you had a curtain too. I've been talking to people and they're like, you didn't have a door? I'm like, you had doors?
there were doors. Where?
No, the curtain and a clear shot of when my roommate was on the toilet. There was no avoiding it.
Yeah, the psych.
Ever.
It was not. I understand that it's not supposed to be a pleasant place, like exciting place to be. Like I understand that concept when they were designing it back in the day. Um,
Yeah.
However, I also see that times have changed and it's like no longer a crime to try to end your life, right? We see it as someone actually needs help and
Yeah.
we can give them tools. So when the environment is still as if it was a crime, it's not very helpful toward like our windows were so thick. Like you had no natural light. And I'm someone who needs light. Like that's why.
Me too. I always have my blinds out. Like my parking lot's right there. I would have them fully open if like I wasn't scared of like it being too backlit. Like people will come in at like 11 p.m. with their headlights, but I love having everything open. I want as much light as possible because all I did when I was depressed was like shut everything out. everything.
Being like the darkness, as dark as my brain was, like I wanted to exist inside it. And people don't realize that. A lot of times people are like, well, just open the blinds. I'm like, I can't. And I
Yeah.
wish I could, but the light is too much.
Did you ever have like the world felt gray, like it almost like it lost its color?
Yeah.
I remember getting on like antidepressants for the first time and waking up one day and was like, I can breathe and like the world is like colorful. Like, is this what I've been missing for like so long?
I remember looking at my mom being like, whoa, like there's like the trees are really like the leaves are really green. Like they
Yeah,
were
that
so
was my
muted
goal.
before. And I just remember that was so fascinating to me. Like I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
get it now. Like nature is beautiful. Like it just seems to through me.
Yeah, that whole period of my life where it was really bad. I have bipolar, so there's there are episodes of it getting really dark, and those periods of time, it's almost like my whole memory is tainted too. It's like the whole time it feels dark and gray and kind of bleached of color because that's what it felt like in that time and just how I remember it.
Yeah. Okay. Same. Bipolar. I have bipolar 2 disorder and
Oh, okay.
depressive episodes. They're so the world just becomes so down. And I remember everything as like I could be around people and I'll still feel completely alone. And all
Yeah.
remember like all the moments where I didn't feel like super excited instead of like all the fun things we did together. I had to start actually taking photos anytime that I was like with my friends doing something. So I could look back at it and be like, oh wait, we did like play pickleball and here's videos of us playing and we were laughing. Like it wasn't what my brain is telling me it was. And that's the only way, like in depressive episodes of it, that I can like understand a little bit more about what's actually happening and I'm not so stuck in what my brain is convinced is so
Yeah.
like does that make sense?
100%. That's part of the reason that I take so many photos and videos is because well, I've struggled with my memory since the fifth concussion and B with the depression, like I feel like I don't remember so much of my life. Like so much and I'm only 22. Like I don't have that much life to remember and like I can't remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I like to take pictures because there's times that I don't even remember that I have pictures of. And it's just like, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's like trying to make sense. That's what I love about live photos too, is that you can
Yes.
like see the moment that it happened. But
Yes. I was so happy when TikTok let you post those because I like seeing my smiles in them. That specifically. Because they're always like, they get the candid, even if you didn't mean for it to be.
yes, exactly. I feel like people always make fun of me for like wanting to take a photo, and I've tried to explain it to them, but they're like, "How? But you like you played, you played." I'm like, "Yeah, but we have to take our like me and my friend Liddy love her so much because she's so used to it now. But before we
Mhm.
start, we have to take a picture. Like we have to like the pickleball court has to be in the background, the paddles. Like I have to be able to remember that and really see that we did play and that it was fun because my brain will remember the one time that like she canceled or she was busy. That's all I'll be able to remember if I don't take pictures of like the good things, the good times.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Did you grow up playing tennis or was that more something you found later in your life as a coping mechanism?
So that is a tricky. My grandmother was a tennis official, like traveled the world to like French Open, Australian Open, Wimbledon, like everything, Italian Open. So I grew up around tennis, and she would make like all the grandchildren go to tennis summer camp, and then she would like to like entertain me, I guess, like lock me in the garage with a tennis racket and a ball and have me like practice hitting it. And she would open the door just to give me strawberry milk and just leave me in there for like an hour or two. So like that was my kind of tennis growing up. And then about 5 years ago, when my grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I one thing she always remembered was like tennis and being an official and what it was like and like all the players she got to see on the courts and who her favorites were. Even though she wasn't allowed to have favorites, she would always say that piece. But it was so like it was one thing that was so important to her. So I just started taking like tennis lessons and taking her with me. So that way we had something to talk about and bond on. Because otherwise the conversations were like so short, or she was having really bad fit. She was really confused, but that was something she
Mm.
could focus on. So then I started doing like lessons and playing with people a little bit. And now it's like my main coping skill, especially when I'm angry. I'm like, someone give me a racket. So I'm going at 3 o'clock today.
No, I love that. I also grew up around tennis because my mom actually was like national tennis champion, state champion, something, and she was also for rowing and figure skating. I come from a very athletic family.
Athlete.
Um, yeah, I actually my concussions came 4 out of 5 were from soccer. That was my main one. But part of why middle school was really rough for my mental health is because um, I went to a private school after being homeschooled. So my first experience after being homeschooled was a small private school in middle school. Yikes. People are so mean. Like girls are so mean. I mean, I was there like 2 months and they had an I Hate Emma club. And it was really just because I was ADHD. It wasn't something, that was normal. Most of them had been there K through 12 or eventually K through 12, K through 6 through that point, and they were taught, not to be loud or be known, be individual. We had uniforms. That's why I don't really wear skirts now because I hated wearing them. I hated them. But I played so many sports because I felt like I was behind. There is like you would get awards at the end of the year and you would get a medal if you were a four-sport athlete and if you did like plays or something. And so I took on as many sports as possible, as many academics as well. I was in Quiz Bowl, which is like Jeopardy for nerds, like more so, like like because I love to read, I like to learn stuff. So I was on it was like just trivia basically, but hardcore. And at the same time, I was doing club soccer, so I was traveling on the weekends to go compete in other states. And then I would come back and do the plays and be, in the spring play musical and do stuff like that. And so at one point I was, doing 4 to 5 sports per semester, because they all stacked on top of each other. And not to mention what I did in my free time, which ended up being homework a lot of the time. But it's just like athletics has always been a part of my life. And then there was a time where I kind of grew to hate them because I felt a little bit of resentment towards always being athletic. And like I just always being so active and never having time to stop, even though like I wanted to stop a lot of times, but my dad didn't want me to for a little bit. And when you're 13, dad knows best. And so, you just keep playing until you can't. And then I took a year off, went back, got 2 more concussions, and was not allowed to play anymore. And it's like a weird, like another thing that it's kind of like mourning. And then recently I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So it's like my whole life has been turned upside down from 4 years ago being an athlete and now struggling to get 3,000 steps a day.
I private school, so I went to private school too, and I remember like all the way down to the girls like making fun of you for like the length of your skirt. But then you're constantly getting in trouble because you're hemming your skirt,
Oh
right?
my
And
God.
then, but if you don't hem it, like people are making fun of you, but you do hem it, you're getting sent to like the principal's office or you're getting sent to like confession. It was such a, and then I switched to private schools in after spring break of 6th grade. That was a really bad idea. Everyone knew everyone from kindergarten, and then all of a sudden, like walking in and not knowing anyone and being, and they wore had their uniforms were a little different. Like we had uniform socks at the other school and like uniform hair ties, and then suddenly you didn't. So you had a little bit of individuality, and I didn't know how to like. I was never like even in cheerleading, like they told us what socks to wear. So I never had. It was terrifying to pick out socks. And every time it was like wrong. Girls can be so mean in middle school.
By high school, I was so fed up with the dress code and the rules and how it was all hypocritical. I my I'll talk about it later, but my big goal in life is to reform the education system. Big goal of mine. I don't like I have plans. Eventually I'll do it like 'cause it needs to be done. Hasn't been updated in so long. But I got an I want to say an amendum. I don't know if that's the right word, added to the dress code after I graduated because my senior year of high school, they wouldn't let us, we had to wear skirts and I didn't like to wear leggings underneath my skirts because they made my legs so itchy. I don't know if anyone else has that experience, but leggings make my legs so itchy if I wear them for more than like 3 hours in a row. And obviously I was going to be at school for a long time. So I started wearing sweatpants under my dress or under my skirt like just like full on sweatpants underneath my skirt because there wasn't a rule against it. And then I graduate and I come to find out through one of my friends who's has a sister there and his mom's like in the PA that they added to the dress code that you could not wear sweatpants underneath your skirts.
That's
Left my mark.
Wait, so did you have to wear something under your skirts?
No, but like during winter, like in Tennessee it gets cold. For some reason it gets hotter there than it does here in the summer, but colder than like they hit negatives this year. Like what the heck?
Okay, so our version of cold in Florida was like 60 degrees, but we had to wear pants. Like you couldn't wear anything under. But in high school we
Okay.
didn't get to have skirts anymore. We had shorts, but you had to wear pants, and it was a Catholic private school. So on church days you did have to wear pants too, even if it was 100 degrees. So that was really
Hmm.
fortunate. But oh, those dress codes. Annoying. But imagine being an athlete like your whole life and then suddenly like that shift of I love it. I don't want to do it anymore. I went back because I had to and now I can't. Like so much like confusion happening. I know with me and
Yeah.
cheerleading cycle, I struggled so much with it till for years I hated it, was so angry by it. Someone would even talk, like say the word cheerleading, or my best friend would want me to go watch her competitions, or like that show was like really big. And I would just get so angry. I was like, oh. But now I'm like, I miss having bows in my hair. I found that.
It's almost like you forget the reason that it was hard in the first place when you're forced to put some separation between you. Like I can't imagine having grown up doing dance or cheerleading or anything in that realm. I mean, the horror stories that I've heard of just the treatments. I mean, and then my mom and I sing is watching Dance Mom, so that was also just added onto it. Like God, like nobody should be commenting on anyone's body,
They
especially
put us on
children.
scales, like to
That's
weigh us for
insane.
tryouts. I refused to try out for years. Like I don't think I tried out from like at all during high school until my senior year. I did end up, my coach made me, and I was so mad. But all throughout high
That
school,
makes me so ill.
I was,
Like, ugh.
yeah,
Because
terrible.
I, like, after and when I was struggling with my eating disorder, I wouldn't even get on a scale at a doctor's. Like, I would ask if I couldn't or close my eyes if they made me. Like, so I can't imagine being 5 or 6 years old and being forced to, like, point out what's wrong with you. Like, that's awful. Like,
And I remember this one girl, Jordan, and I would sit there and she would come up with these really like good ideas of why we weighed less. So she's like, well, our head weighs 8 pounds. We can't control that. So we don't really weigh, like we can subtract 8 pounds. And it's like at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it's not healthy to sit there and be like, how can we subtract weight from ourselves? But like it was just, and it was such a competition. You're always up against everyone to be the smallest so that you could be a flyer. And I remember one coach telling me, she was pulled me aside. She was like, you really shouldn't be a flyer because you have tree trunk legs. You're better for tumbling. And I was like, and keep in mind, up until she became my coach, I was center flyer. And then all of a sudden I was put in the back corner and then I was taken out of there. And I was like,
oh
because of
my
my
gosh.
legs, haven't let that go. Like, but to this day now, when I'm getting dressed, like I look at my legs and I'm like, do they look like tree trunks today? Like it's so like embedded in my brain that that was why I wasn't good enough and got moved and then taken out of something that I really liked. Oh,
That's insane. This is completely like it's the same kind of thing, but very, very minuscule. But it's like just to show like even the smallest comment sticks with you. When I got my ears pierced, I have three piercings on each ear and then my cartilage up here. Almost every single time that I have gotten my ears pierced, except for my cartilage because they weren't looking at my lobes, for some reason, they feel the need to point out to me two things. One, that I have really tiny earlobes, and two, that my earlobes are lopsided. So at like 12 years old, when I finally was allowed to get my ears pierced, this woman's like, huh, your earlobes are lopsided. And for years, I was insecure about my earlobes not being symmetrical. Like,
People don't realize the impact of their comments, especially on a kid and their body. Like any small thing can make such a difference. I remember a coach saying that my shoulders were too broad. It was like men's shoulders. And I was like, something's wrong with me. Just like it was every part of my body that someone made a comment on. It was,
right.
it impacted everything of how I felt throughout my life. And to this day, I have to sit there and I now will sometimes start to wear like something strapless or something that has more of an inner cut because it took me this long to be like, oh, it's like I can't control the shape, my bone structure. Like, and it
Yeah,
doesn't make me less like feminine, or if it does, like that doesn't impact my worth or value, whatever. But they made me
absolutely.
feel like bad about how I looked all the time and then how I looked in my uniform. And your uniform was so revealing. So it was, oh,
Which is, it's just such like an awful concept in general because genuinely your body is the least interesting thing about you. It is. And like nobody's just gonna say, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with Emma because she never eats breakfast." Like nobody's ever gonna say that. They're gonna say that you're friends with you because you're funny or kind and thoughtful. Like genuinely, nobody cares more about your body than you do. And like I always try to remind my audience of that because nobody's looking the way you are.
yeah. And we don't realize that. We're so stuck in our own inner dialogue, right? And focus on ourselves, but everyone is, right? Like we're all looking
Yeah.
at ourselves way more harshly than, I mean, I'll be sitting, I don't go into the gym anymore. But when I did go into the gym, I'm not athletic. I have very little body strength. I broke so many bones cheering because not athletic. So it's not athletic. So gym's not for me. I remember going and feeling so insecure and anxious the entire time about how I looked. And I never looked at anyone else. And then I was with one of my cousins and she was like, no, I feel the same way. And I'm like, oh, are you looking and like judging other people? And she was like, no. And I was like, maybe like people aren't like caring about how like we look or what we're doing since we're not caring about anyone else. We're so hyper focused on ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes I would go when I was really into the gym in like high school. I would go either super early in the morning or super late at night just to Planet Fitness because 24/7. Uh, because I was so anxious that people would be looking at me and judging me. Everyone at Planet Fitness is just trying to like start their fitness journey most likely. Like that's the whole point. And it's just like I would wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. Even though I could have gone after school, which would have been way better for my schedule, because I was so nervous that people would look at me and just judge me for how I was trying to take care of my body.
Isn't it so funny how these are so ingrained in us and we don't even realize it? Like this is just a norm for us. And when we finally get to the point where we see it, it's like, how did no one have these conversations? Like, how did
Exactly.
this get taught to me? When did this happen? And why did no one
100.
intervene?
You know what I've been noticing a lot recently is a lot of my guy friends or family members who I've like since I've struggled with eating myself, you see like gym rats, like a lot of the time it's just a different form of like eating disorders or disordered eating. And like I've seen like I've had partners who were so insecure over their bodies, like to a point like where they were more insecure than I was, or had like struggle eating, but no one took it seriously because they were a guy. And I just like that's so frustrating too.
Yeah, it's like assigned to a gender.
Yes. And like mental illness doesn't pick by genders. Like it can be more prevalent in one or another, but most people like it's just an illness and anyone can do it, just like anyone can break a bone.
Yes. It's like eating disorders were assigned to females and ADHD was assigned to males. And it's so interesting
Exactly.
because how many people we don't help just based on this stigma and assumption that we've created as a society.
Literally, like how many, like you said, like how many women get told like, oh, well, it didn't show up the same in you. So like your brother has ADHD and he was hyperactive. Well, I was too. But it's just like I was athletic. I don't know if you ever experienced that with your siblings, where there was kind of like some unconscious sexism towards the events that we did or, how we were treated based on how we were feeling or mental health wise.
Yeah. Oh, a big thing with me and my brother now as adults is this. And it's so funny because we're so polar opposite. But those comments where it's he's going to be the successful businessman, and you're like, not that I don't want to be like he thinks I'm a damsel in distress, but sometimes there's comments that like hint toward that.
Yeah. No, I get that too. It's like, yeah, it's almost like no matter what I do, my brother is like gonna do it better. Like, because I actually, funny enough that you said entrepreneurship, that was what my bachelor's was in, is I got a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship and now I'm doing my master's in marketing. But my brother went to finance. He's a finance major. And so when you try and tell people that you got a degree in entrepreneurship and now you're pursuing marketing and your brother does finance, they automatically assume that my brother is in a way better position than I am to be like set up. And I'm like, nope, I'm like a VP of a company, but whatever.
Right? They just, oh, my brother. See, thankfully, my brother, he's younger than me and he is more of, what did you do? I'll do that too. So he has
Mm,
like the same bachelor's as me, and he's very much like, whatever you do, I'll do. Like calls me before he was looking for when he was looking for an internship, called me to find his internship. When he was gonna like negotiate his first contract, called me to go over it. And like, what does he say when he walks into the room? Like, so thankfully,
that's so
he's
cute.
very much like, Cheska, solve everything for me. Helps. But just in life, people always assume, and he's 24 and married. He really didn't help me there.
Whatever my brother decides to do with finance, like I'll have him do my taxes. He's always been such a numbers guy, like genius, frankly. His IQ's literally like 160 or something. It's like, but that means he's so analytical. Like, but when he drinks, now he's not 21 yet. He'll be 21 next month. So when he drinks in the future, he gets so sweet. Like so, he'll be like, Emma's the best sister ever. I'm his only sister. Like guys, hold on, I'm on the phone with my Emma, and I hear his friends like, Luke, come on, let's go to the bar. And he's like, no, I gotta talk to my sister. It's like so sweet. I'm like, why are you like this when you're drunk? And like, what?
Wait, that's so funny. My brother was not like that at all. He's very much like his personality just becomes bigger and he's more
Okay.
like it has to be his way. Like he can't adjust at all,
Interesting.
which is very annoying. It's like I'll take the keys away from him and he like can't process that like I drank so much that I can't understand that there's
Yeah.
some compromise here. So, granted, thank goodness for Ubers. He's very much like a Uber or call assisted order an Uber guy. So that's good.
Mm.
But he's so funny because normally he's very much like, I need to take care of you. I need to take care of you. Again, like this damsel in distress. But yeah, he like naturally takes on this like protect my sister role, which is so silly. I think it's silly because I'm older and I feel like I should take on like that protect him role. And I
Yeah.
think, but no, I'm his damsel in distress, apparently.
I don't know if you drink, but I find like I don't know. I'm a believer that like how you act drunk is somehow like a representation of what you're feeling that like gets pushed down. Like my boyfriend, he's quiet. He grew up in a loud house, so he's pretty quiet. But you give him a substance and will talk your ear off. And I love it because I love to hear him talk. I love to yap. And when I drink, I'm just enjoying it. Like I just want to like sit there and vibe or like dance or like I'm just happy, I have fun. And I think it's just interesting how like people, especially people with mental health, act when they're like under the influence because I don't know, like I feel like there's a subconscious that really does come up.
It's so interesting. I get very I don't drink as much anymore because once I started messing with my medication more, I just was like, I don't know. But I would get very like just like I want to dance. I have all this high energy. Like I don't turn off. Like I'm just like on this bubble of excitement. And I was like that as a kid. I was very like bubbly and excited before I started to like switch and have moods of being really low for months at a time and then that like
Yeah.
bubble of energy for a week. But it kind of, I guess I revert back to like my personality before all of like the trauma happened.
That's exactly how I feel too. It's like that's how I revert. That's how I've been feeling really. I've finally reached a place. I have bipolar 1. And for a while there it was rapid cycling, but I don't think that applies anymore. Because I finally had a break between episodes for a long time. And part of that was finding the right medication and how to balance that, which took years, which nobody tells you about. Nobody tells you I feel like everybody acts like medicine is just like oh like magic fix all or like people who skip medication without therapy and it just doesn't work that way.
Yes. It's there's like this there's always one like standard pill for each diagnosis. Right. And they're like, well, we're gonna just try this with everyone. And for some people it works. Right. Like they
Yeah.
know the dose they're gonna like titrate up to and like it works and that's great. Most people it doesn't happen that way. And it takes mixing, right, and trying to find the right cocktail for it. And then years later you may find out, oh, I didn't need that cocktail. I just needed the one medication that was the right one at the right dose. Right. So it's like navigating that. I mean, I was okay, so I was on with my clinical pharmacist this morning and she was like looking through the medication. She's like, oh, you're only on like one mood stabilizer and then one migraine medicine. Like, this is a big shift. And I was like, yeah, I think we finally like figured it out. But it took so long to get to that point. Whereas back in December, I like had an appointment with the clinical pharmacist and neurologist together, just in tears. I was like, I feel so depressed. I can't, like, there's something happening with these medications are interacting. Once we added the one for the migraines, like, I could not calm down. And no one talks about how hard it is to even add other medications for other, like, health stuff because they all interact so easily and finding the right mix for you and not to dissuade people from medication. I am so grateful that I have medication that works and I rely on it. I have alarms set on my phone 8:05 a.m., 8:05 p.m. Can't wait to take my medication. But the process of getting it with every aspect of your health is so much harder than people tell you about.
So much harder. I actually a year ago today, I was in the hospital because I got hospitalized 3 times in 2 weeks. Because I kept leaving because I was in the worst pain of my life. And I felt like nothing would work, no pain medicine, no nothing. Found out later that that was fibro flare-up because nothing would work. Eventually, I got to acupuncture and they were able to relieve it because it was just like my whole body was so tense because I couldn't slow down. And on top of that, during that time that I was in there, they wouldn't let me have my own medication. And I was on, at that point, they kept adding medications because it was like, oh, it's not working. Let's try another one. Let's try another one. Let's add it up because it's such a process to get on and off of them that you have to transfer and so forth. And you end up having a lot of meds. And with bipolar, I'm sure you understand, it was like mood stabilizer after mood stabilizer. Let's throw in some antipsychotics. So I was taking like 14 pills a night total. Not like different medications, but total it was like 14 pills a night. And I hated it. I didn't want to take it. I actually ended up having to make animals or like pictures with my meds to even like give me like encouragement to take them. And then when I was in the hospital, they wouldn't give them to me on my schedule because they wouldn't let me bring my own meds from home. And they didn't have them there because I was on lithium and oh gosh, lamotrigine and Vraylar all at the same time. And so they didn't have my medications or my sleep medication. So, and I have insomnia since I was a child. Plus, when you're in that state, the mania kicks in and then you don't sleep anyway. And so I was stuck in this hospital bed in the worst pain of my life. Like, and nothing would work. And I started to withdraw from my meds because I couldn't have them. And then at that point, I just let myself withdraw, which do not do. Nobody ever stop your meds cold turkey because that's so dangerous. And frankly, I'm so lucky that I'm alive and without any like super long-term health issues. But it ended up being like I, cold turkeyed all of them because I was in the hospital and then just let it flush out of my system for the following weeks. And frankly, it was hell. It was the worst few weeks of my life because withdrawing is painful. It is so painful. And I don't know why people are so hard on addicts who are withdrawing because that is truly like that is a really incredible feat to be able to like get sober from that. And that was just like, mental health meds. So, it's just scary, but then I ended up being just on one medication and then one for sleep. I have a medication that's like for OCD, fluvoxamine. It's like it helps stop the thoughts so much. And then a muscle relaxer to help me sleep because trazodone wouldn't work when I was manic. So like after years of this, turns out I just needed two meds every night.
It's so frustrating because they keep adding more to like treat other symptoms that are coming up that could be side effects. Or
Right.
just the medication itself isn't the right one for all the symptoms as a whole. And it's so frustrating to finally, it's like for me, it was so frustrating when we finally found like, oh, she doesn't need to take so many because they kept wanting to add antidepressants and anxiety medications and the mood stabilizer and then sleep medication for sleep, which was an antipsychotic. And it was like all these different things. I was like, I don't feel better. Like, I do not feel better. Can we, and having the clinical pharmacist to like go through all the side effects and try to figure out what was right for me made such a difference. But still to this day, like talking to the clinical pharmacist, I was like, at night I'm struggling to sleep and I'm crying a lot. And her instinct was, well, are you having thoughts of ending your life or hurting someone else? You need to go to the ER. And I was like, no, I'm just feeling sad. Like, so it's
Yeah.
so hard to talk to the doctor sometimes to figure out what medication changes because a lot of times they go straight to, oh, you are a liability because you've attempted so many times before.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
And then especially like, do you know, like if you actually do have a health issue and then you come in and you have a record of mental health issues, they completely disregard what you're feeling because they're like, oh, it's just anxiety. No, my gallbladder was failing.
So my cardiologist, he's like, I have like a short PR. So like I guess the heart rate's a little faster, like skips that beat. And for so long, he was like, well, it's just anxiety. It's just anxiety. But it's like, no, it's actually like the way my heart's beating. And not that it has any like severe symptoms or that there's anything wrong, but it's like you totally ignored something that was a physical concern because you went straight to, oh, it has to be related to her mental health. And it's just so frustrating to get people to like listen to you. But we are coming up on our time. So as we're wrapping up, that was such a fun and quick conversation. What is one thing you'd like to leave our audience with?
Ooh, I think, okay, this is like my favorite thing to tell people. If you like, I feel like a lot of people come to me and they're like, I'm scared to ask for help. I don't feel like I'm sick enough. There is no such thing as sick enough. If you were drowning in 2 inches of water, or if you were drowning in 20 feet, you are still drowning and someone would come to save you. You don't deserve it any more or less than the person who's in 20 feet or the one in 2 inches. You deserve to have help. And that's how I like try and encourage people to reach out because there's no such thing as sick enough. If you're questioning if you need help, you should probably reach out for it.
Thank you so much for listening to Normalize the Conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. This podcast is an initiative of Inspiring My Generation, focusing on normalizing the conversation, bringing education and awareness to the forefront, and amplifying global voices to spark change and hope. Inspiring My Generation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization on a mission towards suicide prevention through awareness, conversation, education, and support. Connect with us on Instagram at Inspiring My Generation and visit our website inspiringmygeneration.org to learn more about our work and how you can make a difference.